welcome back to the FastBreak Productions podcast. This is episode 3. Thank you for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about the NBA draft. The draft lottery happened Thursday, and today we're going to talk about the first 5 picks because in my mind, this is going to be a very top-heavy draft. Going number 1 to the Timberwolves is going to be LaMelo Ball out of Lithuania. Lithuania by way of New Zealand. LaMelo Ball, I've been watching him since his freshman year in high school. I expect LaMelo to be one of the best rookies we've ever seen from an NBA draft. Definitely top 5, number 1 overall prediction hype. He fits the Timberwolves offense straight out of the gate. You can run him and D'Lo out with the 1 and 2, switch them up. LaMelo's going to be really good on the defensive end side of the ball. Whenever he establishes his game and really gets used to the league, he's going to be a force on the defensive end, just like his brother. He's too tall. He's too quick to not, be at least decent on the defensive side. Him, Cat, and D'Lo is a great cornerstone for the Timberwolves. They can actually do something next year, and who knows, they may be able to bring in a good free agent, have a four-man lineup, and they may be able to make some noise next year. So that's who I have going number 1. Then we have number 2 going to the Warriors. The Warriors really don't need anyone. Let's be honest here. The Warriors have Clay, Curry, Draymond, Wiggins coming next year. I don't think they keep this pick. I think they shop it around. Maybe hit up Philadelphia and say, what does it take to get Simmons? Maybe they draft the 2nd overall pick for Philly and trade it with Philly to get Simmons. Simmons for Wiggins and the number 2. Straight up. Maybe throwing another pick on the Warriors end. And that's a great trade. I think James Wiseman goes 2nd overall. Whether, it's traded or whatever the case may be. He's a great talent. He's 7'1". He can shoot, but not with consistency. So, you kind of, get what you get out of that. He only played like 7 games at Memphis with the whole eligibility thing. So, he didn't really show much in college other than the pure potential side of the ball. But with that being said, I do believe he's a great player. And you can definitely has star potential. Do I believe he'll be a star? No, because I don't believe centers fit in the game very well right now. So, if he can't shoot consistent, he can be a solid 2nd too for a number 2 for a team on a championship team. So I believe in him, but I don't believe the Warriors keep this pick. Maybe they even hit up Phoenix and say, "Hey, Phoenix, we'll give you the 2 pick for Devin Booker," and maybe that'll work. So with the 3rd pick, we have Charlotte. With the 3rd pick, we have Charlotte, and I think Anthony Edwards goes to Charlotte. I know they just got the guard out of from the Celtics last year. He's a great shooting guard. He's decent on the defensive end. He can score. He can create his own shot. Is he a star in the league? No. Is he a good number 2 on a championship team? Not on the Hornets. The Hornets have a long, long way before they're ever considered a championship team. So, but I believe he's a decent player. I think he can be a good value to a team in the league. With the 4th pick, we have the Chicago Bulls. Chicago, they're tricky. They have one of the best under 25 guards in the league with Zach LaVine. And then we have Lauri Markkanen, who had a great rookie year but hasn't done anything since. And then they have a great power forward for them. So they could be in shop of a big. They can get the guy out of USC in Okongwu. He's decent. He can shoot for being so big and tall. He can play well on the defensive end. I think he led the Pac-12 in blocks. So, he's not nothing special. He's a great talent, but nothing, too eyebrow-raising from him. Then we have the 5th pick with the Cavs. I think the Cavs go with Isaac Okoro out of Auburn. I watched him all year long, me being an Auburn fan. And he's probably the most underrated player in this draft. No one's really talking about him because no one got to see all of him in March Madness, but he played for one of the best teams in college. And now he's going to go to a Cavs team that need a scorer with Colin Sexton not turning out to be as good as everyone thought he would be. And he's a walking bucket. Like, he can create his own shot. He's great on the defensive end. He's tall. He stretches. He's a one-of-a-kind type of player. But he's one of the players you need on a championship team. So he's going to have great value to the Cavs, and he's going to bring something amazing to the Cavs organization. So look out for him. Okay, let's switch it up for a minute. Let's talk about college football. I'm going to try to talk as many sports topics on this podcast as possible, so just hit me up with any questions about any sort of type of sports, conversations y'all want me to talk about. So we have college football coming in about 2 to 3 weeks. The SEC's playing, the Pac-12 is playing, the Big 12 is playing, the ACC, SEC, Big 12, and Justin Fields is trying to start up the Big 10 by his lonesome out there. So I'm going to talk about the dark horses and some dark horses on the college football side. Looking at the schedules now that they revamped the schedules, I know I sound biased. I know I'm an Auburn fan. I understand, but if you look at their schedule, they have one of the easiest schedules in the entire NCAA now. At first, we were starting off at a neutral site game in Atlanta versus North Carolina. Now we are playing week 1 against Kentucky, week 2 at Georgia. In my favor, that favors Auburn more than the previous schedule because now we're getting Georgia as they're getting Julian Newman into the offense. We're not getting late into the season where he already knows the offense. So I believe our only difficult game of the season is going to be the Alabama game, second to last game of the year for us. I know it sounds weird. Our Iron Bowl is not the last game of the year anymore. I know, it's weird. Everything is weird now. So I believe Auburn can go 9-1 at worst. At best, they can go 10-0. I don't see them losing to Georgia week 2 because Julian Newman's going to be so new to that offense. I just don't see it. The Alabama game is always going to be rough. It always is. So you never really can decide. It just comes down to who's the better team that day. But LSU's not the same team this year. Mississippi State still doesn't have a good quarterback. They still don't have a decent coach. Well, they have Mike Leach, but it's his first year, so you can't really expect much. A&M, do y'all believe in Jimbo Fisher? Because I sure don't. I don't believe in him at all. I don't believe he's as good as anticipated or advertised. So, and I know what you're saying. I just sound like a biased Auburn fan. Y'all are good every year. Yada yada yada. I understand. And if we go 6-4, please give me 8 because I understand. I believe this is going to be Bo Nix's year. I believe he should be the favorite for the Heisman, other than Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence. Returning running back, we have the best running back in the state of Alabama coming, or in the South actually, because he was actually from Georgia. His name's Tank Williams. He's gonna do really good for Auburn. We have returning starter and receivers. We probably have the best receiving core in SEC now. Yes, we lost Derek Brown, and yeah, we're gonna be hurting on the defensive line. But I believe we can retool, we can reshape, and we can definitely go 10-0 and 8-2 at worst. I know I said 9-1, but 8-2 at worst, 10-0 at best. And I don't know if that's NCAA championship rules or what they're gonna do with the playoff, but yeah. And then don't count Notre Dame out of the ACC out. Do not count them out. Notre Dame's playing in the ACC this year. I know it sounds weird. Notre Dame's good every year. Notre Dame's overrated. I understand. They are at times, but they're playing in the ACC, so we'll be able to tell early if they're overrated or underrated. I believe they play Clemson week 3 or 2. 2 or 3 or one of those. They have Ian Book. It's his third year starting. I expect him to be decent in the offense. And maybe best season yet. He's on the Heisman watch list. So that may crush his confidence whenever he has a bad game, or it may raise it just because he has something to play for, other than, a chance to lead Notre Dame. And let's be honest, they'll get more credibility because they're in the ACC now. So if they go 9-1 and their only loss is to Clemson, everyone's going to talk themselves into giving Notre Dame a chance. Okay, let's talk about the most disappointing team I expect from college football this year. We got Alabama. I believe Alabama has 4 potential losses on their record this year. They play Georgia. They play Auburn. Maybe A&M. Depends on if A&M wants to give them a game. Because, like I said, I don't believe A&M's as good as everybody hypes them up. But they won't. They'll beat LSU. And don't count out Kentucky for giving them early upset. They played them, I think, week 2 or 3. So Bryce Young should be their starting quarterback, not Mac Jones. Bryce Young is their best quarterback on that roster. Mac Jones only had a great game against Auburn last year because to beat Alabama, you have to pick your poison. Instead of getting eat up by Najee Harris in the backfield, we chose to sit back and let Mac Jones pick us apart. He threw for 350, but he also threw 2 interceptions. Both of those returned for a touchdown. So we played in to let Mac Jones score, better than eat away with Najee Harris, break us down as a defense. And we also let their best receiver have a great game against us. Ruggs didn't have a great game against us last year. And that, we picked the worst receiver to have a great game against us. That's how you beat Alabama. You have to get something up, and we did. So I expect Alabama to go 7-3. All 3 losses coming to Georgia. I believe they play Georgia, Auburn, Kentucky. I believe Alabama beats Kentucky, or Kentucky beats Alabama. And don't be surprised if you hear Nick Saban needs to be fired, Nick Saban needs to retire, talks from the Tuscaloosa faithful. So that's going to be it for episode 3. Thank you for watching, and peace out.